Ready for a deep dive. We're ditching Silicon Valley this time. Gonna meet some serious innovators.
Yeah, and we're talking about more than gadgets. It's about the thought process, the connections, the real story of breakthroughs.
Exactly. We're going deep with these folks, finding out how they cracked the code, what made them tick.
And hopefully give you, the listener, some takeaways. No matter what you do, there's something to learn here.
Love it. First up, Abiel, tackling something nobody likes. Food waste.
Right, but he's not a farmer. We're talking Hong Kong, not exactly a compost haven.
Uh-huh. No kidding. But even in a concrete jungle, you can find a budding innovator.
Always tinkering this one. Tried to make a water purifier out of a microwave once.
Oh, man. Classic kid move. Hope he unplugged it first.
Yeah.
But it's that hands-on curiosity we're looking for.
But get this, it was India that really flipped the switch for him. Those landfills, the sheer scale, the smell, it was a real wake-up call.
Ah, so the problem got personal. That's usually when the good stuff happens.
And here's the kicker, his dad, environmental engineer. Talk about paths converging.
Wait, are you saying they teamed up? Father-son innovation duo? Tell me more.
Oh yeah, straight out of a movie. Abiel walks into a lecture, who's on stage, Dad talking sustainability,
No way.
and the rest is history. They join forces, Dad's the tech guru, Abiel's the business brain, boom, voila is born.
Love it. Voila, they're taking on food waste, right? What's the magic solution?
They've got this machine, the Voila X1 is like magic, separates your food waste, turns it into energy. Efficiency is through the roof.
Okay, but is it just a cool gadget or does it actually, solve a real-world problem?
Abiel gets it. He's all about market need. It's got to be useful, something people will pay for, not just a shiny toy.
Music to my ears. All right, time for a complete 180. From Hong Kong high-tech to a refugee camp. This is Admir's story.
Talk about overcoming obstacles. His love for chemistry blossomed in the most unlikely place.
Okay, paint me a picture. Refugee camp, what was life like before chemistry entered the scene?
Bosnian War. Uprooted, chaos, you name it. But even in that environment, there's hope.
Always is.
This teacher, she saw something in him, went above and beyond to get him into a school.
Wow. Talk about a life-changing act of kindness. It's amazing how one person can make such a difference.
And when you know it, kid's a natural chemistry. But here's where it gets really interesting.
He didn't just become another chemist, did he?
Nope, this is Admir we're talking about. This guy's drawing inspiration from Roman concrete of all things.
Hold up, Roman concrete like the Colosseum. What's that got to do with cutting-edge chemistry?
It's all about those unexpected connections. See, Roman concrete, that stuff lasted millennia.
They don't make it like they used to.
Exactly. So Admir's taking that ancient wisdom, applying it to modern materials. Imagine concrete that heals itself, even stores energy.
Now that's what I call thinking outside the box. From ancient Rome to the future of construction, who knows where inspiration will strike next?
Speaking of unexpected paths, meet Anup. This guy's taking on injustice in the Indian legal system.
All right, every story a curveball. I love it. So Anup, lawyer from day one or what?
Not quite. His story starts in Bangalore. Poverty, legal system failing the people it's supposed to protect. He saw it firsthand. Even his own family got caught up in it.
And talk about shaping your worldview.
His mom raised him and his brother, almost single-handedly, battling the system every step of the way.
So that sense of justice, of fighting for the underdog, it's deep-rooted.
Absolutely.
Huh.
But he's not just about speeches and protests. He's about action, real change. And it starts with the death penalty.
Okay, heavy stuff, but important. What's he doing changing the laws themselves?
It's bigger than that. He realized there's barely any information out there about India's death row. So he dives in head first, talks to everyone, the prisoners, their families, gets the real story.
Wow, that takes guts, compassion. I can only imagine the stories he's heard.
And that's where the innovation comes in. He founds Project 39A. Imagine a law firm, but inside a university, dedicated to giving a voice to the voiceless.
So they're actually representing these prisoners, fighting for them in court.
They're handling a huge chunk of death row cases, taking it all the way to the Supreme Court.
Talk about taking on the system head on. But he's realistic, right? This isn't a magic bullet solution.
He sees it as a step. He's a big believer in technology, how it can bridge the justice gap, but also cautious, got to make sure it helps everyone, not just the privileged few.
So important. Technology can be a great equalizer, but it can also widen the gap if we're not careful.
Exactly. All right, ready for another tech whiz? This time it's Beth, breaking barriers at IBM.
From death row to data science, keep them coming. So, Beth, another techie from day one.
Not this time. Think cross-country road trips, soaking in different cultures. That open-mindedness, That's her superpower.
It's amazing how travel can shape your perspective, make you a more adaptable thinker.
Music was her first love, played cello. Believes it actually honed her spatial reasoning, which comes in handy with data.
I can see that. Patterns, structures, it's all connected. But how'd she end up at IBM?
Life, needed a job, landed a contractor role, and just crushed it. Became the data whisperer, technical skills, but also knew how to explain it all in plain English.
That's huge. So many tech folks struggle with that. But contractor to, what was it, head of data science? That's a whole other level.
This is where mentorship comes in. She had people who believed in her, especially Rhonda Childress, a top engineer at IBM.
Ah, the power of a good mentor. Someone to show you the ropes, open doors, especially as a woman in a male-dominated field.
Rhonda taught her the technical stuff, but also how to navigate the corporate world, the unspoken rules, all of it.
Invaluable. But then there's AI, that's Beth's domain now. How does she feel about this rapidly changing technology? Excited, terrified, or somewhere in between?
She sees the potential, but she's cautious. Talks about controlled data sets, ontologies, making sure AI is accurate and unbiased.
No rogue algorithms, please. I like her style. All right, this next innovator, Bill Drayton, founder of Ashoka, this guy's a legend.
The godfather of social entrepreneurship. His belief. Everyone has the potential to change the world, and Ashoka is proving it every single day.
But he wasn't always about social impact, right? He was a McKinsey man. Talk about a plot twist.
He's full of surprises. Saw McKinsey as training, even designed new taxes for New York City. Went toe-to-toe with powerful industries.
All right, so he's not afraid of a challenge. But what sparked this whole social entrepreneurship thing?
It seems like Gandhi's philosophy really resonated with him. This idea that individuals can create change, even against overwhelming odds. Ashoka, it's like that philosophy in action.
Supporting change makers all over the world, amazing. Hold on, I'm going to quit my job and start a nonprofit after this. But before I do, we're going from social impact to, wait, are we in an operating room now?
Get ready for a wild ride. John, a surgeon tackling cataract blindness. But his approach is anything but ordinary.
Cataract surgery, that's pretty standard these days, isn't it? Where's the innovation?
It's not the surgery itself, it's the system. He realized the bottleneck wasn't the procedure, it was getting people through it efficiently. So he optimized his operating room for maximum flow.
Like a well-oiled machine. But we're talking about surgery, people's eyesight. How do you create flow in that environment?
Believe it or not, he got inspired by the construction industry. Minimizing delays, maximizing productivity, he saw the parallels.
So we've got surgeons with stopwatches now? Sounds intense.
Not quite. John's all about flow, connection, and get this, playfulness.
Playfulness. In the OR, is that allowed?
He believes a bit of humor, respect, shared purpose actually helps everyone focus.
You know, that's something a lot of workplaces could learn from. Did his team think he was nuts at first?
Maybe a little, but he challenged them. I want you more busy, but less tired.
That's a bold statement. Did he pull it off?
Not only did they meet his goals, they felt more energized, more fulfilled. Really makes you think about what we value in a job.
Absolutely. Okay, let's go global again. Koen, a teacher using technology to tackle climate change.
This is what it's all about. One person's passion sparking a global movement.
All right, set the scene. How'd Koen go from teacher to global change maker?
It all started with a single laptop. He heard about a refugee camp in Kenya, kids with no access to education. So what does he do? Ships them his own laptop, starts teaching remotely.
Wow. Talk about above and beyond, but how do you even coordinate something like that?
He found people on the ground, shared internet access, made it happen. True grassroots effort.
Amazing. Okay, so remote teaching, but where's the climate change part come in?
This experience opened his eyes to the power of connection. Technology bringing people together across borders to tackle global challenges.
So he basically created a global classroom focused on sustainability. I love it.
Exactly. He founded Innovation in Education, a platform connecting teachers and students passionate about climate change.
Like a social network, but for saving the planet. What are they actually doing on this platform?
Collaboration is key. Teachers sharing lesson plans, students connecting with peers worldwide, even an app to track their environmental impact.
That's so cool. It's like gamifying sustainability, making it fun and engaging for kids. He's not just teaching about climate change, he's empowering them to be part of the solution.
And that's what's so powerful about his story. You don't have to be a scientist or politician to make a difference. Everyone has a role to play.
Feeling inspired. Okay, time to shake things up again. This is all about transforming the way we work. If you've ever felt stuck in a rut at your job, listen up.
Lyssa is all about agile principles. Think collaboration, flexibility, continuous improvement.
But her journey started with burnout, big time.
Burnout. So we're talking traditional corporate world.
Project manager, drowning in rigid plans and top-down management. It wasn't working.
I think a lot of people can relate to that feeling of hitting a wall with the old ways of doing things. So what clicked for her? What was her aha moment?
She stumbled upon Agile principles, and it was like a light bulb moment. Everything she thought she knew about work flipped on its head.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What are some of the core principles of this Agile thing?
Basically, it's about embracing change, not fearing it. Empowering teams, breaking down silos, and constantly improving. So, less rigid planning, more flexibility, more collaboration. Sounds almost too good to be true. Did she face any resistance when she tried to bring these ideas into her workplace?
Are you kidding? Change is hard, especially in organizations stuck in their ways. But she realized the biggest obstacle wasn't the process itself, it was people's mindsets.
So how do you change deeply ingrained beliefs about work?
It started with her own transformation. She had a mentor, Mike, who helped her see that she was part of the problem.
Ouch. That's got to be tough to hear.
He showed her how her own need for control was holding her back, preventing her team from reaching their full potential.
It's amazing how those aha moments can be so powerful. So she embraced Agile on a personal level, but how'd she spread the gospel to others?
She became an Agile coach, guiding organizations to transform their work culture. But it's not just about tools and techniques. It's about navigating the identity crisis that comes with embracing a new way of working.
An identity crisis. That's a powerful way to put it.
It's about letting go of old patterns, embracing vulnerability, trusting your team. And it's not a one-time thing. It's an ongoing journey.
Love it. Personal growth, A&D, organizational change. 2 birds, 1 stone. All right, we've got to pause there, but when we come back, the final 3 innovators. Don't touch that dial.
You're listening to an AI-generated deep dive into the Innovator's Journey podcast, which is hosted by me, Jonathan Winter. The 2 characters playing fast and loose with my podcast guests were generated by Google's experimental research assistant called Notebook LM. If you'd like to hear the real humans and the full stories, visit tijourney.com or search for the Innovator's Journey wherever you get your podcasts. Now, back to you, my breathlessly over-enthusiastic and slightly spooky AI friends. No, really, you two, stop laughing.
All right, we're back and ready to meet more of these unexpected innovators. And this one's tackling a big one, making the world a little more inclusive.
Maureen's story is inspiring, that's for sure. She's been a champion for inclusion her whole life, always pushing boundaries. But it started with her own unique way of thinking, you know? She was a total bookworm as a kid, right? Always pushing the limits of knowledge.
Absolutely. And music was her other big passion. Even early on, it was clear she saw the world a little differently. But it wasn't always easy. She faced some real challenges growing up.
Yeah, like losing her mother at a young age, that's gotta shape you.
It's interesting, though, she talks about how those tough times, they taught her to adapt, find strength, be resilient. And that's been so crucial, especially when it comes to changing how we think about neurodiversity.
So she's advocating for a more inclusive world, especially in the workplace, right? But what does that actually look like? What's she doing to make it happen?
One of her big things is bridging that gap between education and employment for neurodivergent individuals. Create pathways for them to find work that plays to their strengths, instead of trying to force them into a box.
Makes sense. Recognize those unique talents and perspectives. That's where the magic happens. But it's not just about the workplace, is it?
Not at all. She talks about universal design, creating environments that work for everyone, no matter how their brain works. Like, think about designing more inclusive classrooms or technology that's accessible to people with different learning styles.
So it's about understanding that diversity isn't just some corporate buzzword. It's a strength, a source of innovation. I love that. All right, let's get back to tech, but this time we're going way back.
Buckle up, it's history time. Ross, this guy's seen it all, from punch cards to AI. Talk about a front row seat to the evolution of technology.
A true tech veteran. But what makes him an unexpected innovator? What's his secret sauce?
It's that ability to adapt, to learn constantly. I mean, the guy started programming on punch cards, can you imagine?
The good old days, right?
But here's the thing. He didn't let that hold him back. He embraced every new challenge, every wave of technology, and always found a way to contribute.
That's so important in a field that's changing by the minute. So was he always a tech whiz? What was his path like?
Well, it wasn't exactly linear. Get this. He started as a typist.
You're kidding. From typist to tech guru, that's amazing. So what's he up to these days?
He's on the cutting edge of AI development, specifically transforming customer support. Imagine a world where you never have to talk to a human for help. It's all seamless, intuitive AI.
Sounds both amazing and a little creepy. But I get it. AI has the potential to make our lives so much easier if it's done right. What's his take on the whole robots taking our jobs thing?
He's an optimist, but realistic. He says AI will automate a lot of those routine tasks, which frees us up to focus on creativity, critical thinking, all that good stuff.
So it's not about us versus the machines. It's about finding ways to work together to augment our abilities. I like that. Okay, couple more innovators to meet. What's next?
Get ready to think big. We're talking tackling climate change on a global scale. This is Shaun, an engineer who's completely dedicated to finding solutions.
Climate change, that's a big one, no doubt about it. What's his approach?
He's all about systems thinking, challenging the status quo. He started out designing energy-efficient buildings, realized we need to use less energy, not just find new sources.
Makes sense. Efficiency and conservation, they're just as important as renewable energy when it comes to tackling climate change.
Exactly. And he's made some really cool discoveries along the way. Like, he found out that the way we've been ventilating buildings for decades, super inefficient in cold weather, flipped the script on a centuries-old practice.
Wow. Simple solutions, big impact. But he's not just doing buildings anymore, right? We were talking global impact.
He's moved on to some pretty radical ideas. Geoengineering, using technology to actually manipulate the Earth's climate system.
Now that sounds both fascinating and terrifying. Tell me more.
One of the projects he's involved in is called marine cloud brightening.
Yeah.
Basically, they spray seawater into the atmosphere to make these brighter clouds that reflect more sunlight away from Earth.
That sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, but I bet it's controversial.
It definitely is. There are ethical concerns about geoengineering for sure. Some people think it's too risky, meddling with things we don't fully understand.
Yeah, and then there's the whole unintended consequences thing. But I can also see the other side, the urgency of the situation. Like, maybe we need to consider all options at this point.
Exactly. And Shaun's not naive about it. He says geoengineering isn't a magic bullet, just a potential tool to buy us some time while we transition to a more sustainable future.
It's a good reminder that there are no easy answers when it comes to climate change. Okay, one last innovator to meet. What have we got?
Get ready to appreciate the art of engineering. Ted, a bridge designer who sees these structures as more than just concrete and steel, but works of art.
Okay, bridges as art. Now I'm intrigued.
He believes a bridge should be both functional and beautiful, blending seamlessly into the landscape. And he finds inspiration in the most unexpected places, like Chinese poetry.
Chinese poetry and bridge design, now that's an interesting combination.
He loves the elegance, the simplicity, how every word, every element serves a purpose. He applies that same philosophy to bridge design.
It's like he's writing poems with steel beams and concrete. Pretty cool. But he's not just an artist, right? The guy's built some incredible bridges. What are some of his most noteworthy projects?
The Lake Champlain Bridge is a great example. He used this really innovative construction technique, basically turned the bridge itself into a giant crane during the build.
No way. So meta. What's so special about the Lake Champlain Bridge's design?
It's all about the cables. They're incredibly strong, designed to withstand even the loss of multiple cables without the whole thing collapsing. Talk about building for the future.
It sounds like he's thinking about the long game, how that bridge will stand the test of time, serve generations to come.
And that's what I love about his work. He gets it. Bridges are more than just physical structures. They connect people, facilitate commerce and culture. And yeah, when they're done right, they can be pretty inspiring.
Building something beautiful and useful, that's a pretty great legacy to leave behind.
It's been quite the journey, wouldn't you say? Meeting all these incredible innovators.
Absolutely. From food waste to climate change, we've covered a lot of ground today. And what's amazing is that none of these innovators followed a straight path. They faced challenges, got creative, and weren't afraid to go against the grain.
And that's what it's all about, right? Innovation isn't about having all the answers. It's about asking questions, being adaptable, and taking risks.
It's about looking at things with fresh eyes, asking those what-if questions.
Exactly. And that's what these innovators have shown us. Anything's possible when you embrace the unexpected.
So, to everyone listening, think about these stories. What problem are you meant to solve? What can you do today to make a difference?
Remember, innovation isn't just for scientists or CEOs. It's happening everywhere, all the time.
That's a wrap on another deep dive into the world of unexpected innovators. Until next time, stay curious.